6th grade. This is Miss Evans, and I told you guys I would show you how to use Photor in a video, and I would also show you how to copy and paste into a Microsoft Word document for a collage. Photor actually has had some updates recently, so I think it's probably going to be the easiest way for you to go. It allows you now to import photos directly from the website without having to save them, as I explained in class that you might have to do. So we're going to start out by going to our Edline page, and if you find the page that's got Miss Evans and it says the Miss Evans Social Studies and it has the big picture of the globe, you know you're in the right place. And over here under Contents, I have the class handouts link. Remember, you guys won't see all of this probably because this is just mine because I'm the teacher. So you'll click on class handouts, and it brings up the class handouts that I have available for you. Once again, the gray ones won't show up on yours, so you probably would just have the interactive student notebook cover that's in Microsoft Word format and the interactive student notebook cover that's in PDF format. I prefer to open the PDF format. You can use either one. If you open it in Microsoft Word, it'll actually download to your computer more than likely. If you open the PDF, it'll just pop up in another window. So I'm going to go with that. And to make sure it opens in its own window, I'm actually going to right click on it and tell it to open link in a new tab. You're welcome to just click on it directly though and it'll open it up. So I come over here, and this is the page we looked at in class that shows you specifically what you have to include on here, the words, and then reminders of the historical information and personal information you need to include. And then down here at the bottom is the link that I showed you really should access online rather than printing it out. Because remember, if you try to touch on a link on a piece of paper, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to click on the Photor link, and again, I'm actually going to tell it to open in a new tab. Just kidding. Okay, so it didn't want to open in a new tab, so I'm going to go back because I want to keep this interactive student notebook document open. So now I've got it in one tab and I've got Photor in another. So once I'm in the photo collage program, I'll click on the Get Started Now, and it opens up a page with a bunch of sample pictures. I don't need any of those, and I actually don't want to use one of these plain templates that they offer. They have several different templates. I prefer to use, I don't want to keep this. I prefer to use the one that's a little more haphazard, a little more creatively shaped. These are some pretty fun templates. And I'm just going to work with what they give me as the default right now. Now, I don't need any of these photos. These are the ones that they offered me. So I'm just going to X them all out, or you can go down and click Clear All. And it says clear all your pictures, yes. All right, and so now I'm going to add photos. And where I need to add them from is from the web. If these are pictures that you've found in Google Images, this is where they're going to come from. So I'm actually going to go look for my pictures first. I have my Google tab already open. And one of the things I heard you guys talking about in class were Greek gods or Greek mythology. So I'm just going to type that into my Google search bar. And then I'm looking for images. So once that loads, I'm going to click on images and come over and see the pictures. Here we've got a great picture of Greek god. So for this, all you have to do is you have to right click on it. If you're using an Apple, then you'll control click. And you'll go up and save the image URL. That's the web address that takes you directly to that picture. Don't copy the image and don't copy the link address, but copy the image URL. So I'll click on that. And when I come over here to my photo collage and I tell it that I'm going to put a picture in from the web, it asks me for the image URL, not the website. When I click there, then I can right click and do paste, or you can use Control V. And when I click open, old Zeus shows up right over here. So that's perfect. That's going to be a picture that I'm going to include. So I'm going to go back over to Google Docs and or Google Images, and I'm going to try to find something else. So how about Europe's Industrial Revolution? And help if I spell it right. I didn't spell any of that right, but it still gave me what I needed. Okay, so here's a picture, some smokestacks. All right, so again, I'm going to right click on it, copy the image URL, head back over to my photo collage and click that I want to import it from the web. And when I click here, I showed you a second ago how you can right click and click paste, or you can just do control, hold down the control button and push V at the same time, and my link comes in that way. So now we've got our picture of Zeus and the Industrial Revolution. Let's check out our instructions again, just make sure what we're getting. We're looking for things you found in your textbook that had to do with South America or Europe. So something else that might be of interest is Peru. There are a lot of llamas in Peru. You may have seen that in your textbook. So when I click on Peruvian llamas, I see all kinds of images. I really like this picture. So you have to actually click on the picture you find in Google Images, because if you try to copy the URL directly from here, it doesn't always work. So click on that picture, come over to here, get the image URL, back into Photo Collage, add photos from the web, paste in your link, and now we have our little girl with the llama. So we've got Zeus, we've got the Industrial Revolution, and the girl with the llama. So I said get 2 or 3. You can include more if you want. I'm going to go with the 3 that I picked. And then it also tells me that I have to include either a hobby or something that's a favorite of mine or something that's special to you. So I think I told you guys in class that I like elephants, which have absolutely nothing to do with Europe or South America. This is just a personal interest. But I actually like cartoon images of elephants. So let's see. All these are really cute. Okay. So I think I like this one. This one. All right. So I'm going to right click, copy my image URL, come back into Photo Collage, add photos from the web, stick in my URL, click open, and there's my little friend, the elephant. All right. So back over here. So I've included what I needed for my visual content, historical information, and my personal information. And then now here are all the words and specifics you have to include. Social studies, interactive student notebook, the class period, the school year, my name, your name. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can go back into Google Google Images and try to find pictures of these things. So let's go look for social studies really quickly and see what we can find in Google Images for social studies. Oh, these are kind of cool. Okay, here's the one I used on the example I showed you guys in class. How about, I kind of like this one. So I'm going to use this one. So I'll right click on it, copy the image URL, bring it over here and add it to the photos using the web link. Okay, so now I have my social studies requirement. What else do I need? Interactive student notebook. I think I'm just going to type in those words because I want that specific language on your cover. So when I go over to Photo Collage, now instead of adding photos, I'm going to go over here to the left side, and maybe with a little bit of thought, you can figure out which one of these means to add text. It's the big T. So when I click on this, I have a text box that pops up in the middle of my screen, and I actually add the text from up here. So if I enter text, I'm going to type in interactive student notebook. And you can go down and you can change your fonts. You can change the colors. These are some fun ones at the top. Let's just go with ribeye. That's cool. Okay, so and I'll pick a color, favorite color, guesses, blue. And then using this little twisty arrow, you can shrink and twist where it goes just by moving your mouse. You got to stay clicked on it the whole time. So right now I'm not really worried about formatting everything till I get all my pictures in, but I'm just going to keep creating my text boxes. All right, so what else? Class period. All right. Again, I'm going to do this using a text box. And I'm going to pretend like I'm in class period 6 and see what kind of fun font I can come up with. That'll work. I think I'm going to keep it red. I can always adjust it when I go in and add my pictures because I want it to stand out. Remember, you guys don't want to make me cross-eyed or have to use a magnifying glass to try to find all your stuff. Okay, what else? So I've got social studies, I've got interactive student notebook, I've got my class period. Now you got to include your school year. I think I'm going to try to find that in Google Images. 2013 to 2014. Let's see what we can get. This is the one I used on the example I showed you all in class. There's not really a whole lot else jumping out at me. This one will work. I'm going to copy the image URL, come back over into Photo Collage, add a photo, paste it in here, and now I have my year down here at the bottom. Okay, we are almost done. You need to now include my name and your name. So I'm going to do that using a text box on both of these. So my name is Ms. Evans. And let's pick a different color. No, you know what? I'm going to wait on the color. Let's see. Seaweed Fire. That looks good. Ms. Evans. And I'm also going to add another text box with your name. Good old Jim Bob Susie Q. I'm not worried about color, actually. And then another fun font. Fascinate. Okay. So let's see if I have everything that I need to have according to my list. And you can actually drag this tab out so it separates. And then I can close out my Google window. And if I come back over here and I minimize this window, I can make it a little bit narrower. And then I can scroll over here. This is not wanting to cooperate. Okay, now I can see my pictures over here. No, I still can't. Okay, forget that. Okay, so looking over here at our list of requirements, I've got the word social studies right here in the pictures. I've got interactive student notebook. Typed it in down here. Class period is, I went with period 6. You guys will use your actual class period. 2013, 2014, I have the blue box with the numbers in it. My name, Ms. Evans, that's me. Your name, Jim Bob Susie Q, right there. Historical information, this was 2 or 3 ideas from South America or Europe. So let's see how many I ended up with. 1, 2, 3. And then at least one aspect of yourself as a person. An interest, a hobby, or something special. I went with good old elephant. And then remember, the rest of this all describes me too. So the rest of this is just really formatting and fixing it the way you want it to look. So I went ahead and clicked fill in, and it just kind of auto-fills your photos. I'm not crazy about how they're arranged right now, so I can keep clicking fill in till they're how they like them, or I can just go through and individually move them where I want them. So for example, I want my elephant in the middle, not the year, so I drag Ellie over here. I can move it around in that box. I can resize it. You just end up with some color around it. Now the other thing is you can change your template, but you can't change out of the funky collage. If this is where you started, this is where you got to finish. So if I was to click on this one to go back to the plain old squared templates, it wants to save this and it kicks me out and I lose all my text boxes that I entered. So you'd have to re-enter those. So I'm actually going to cancel so I don't lose this. I don't have to redo it. And still not crazy about this layout. So I'm going to see if I can find something else. That's kind of good. So the elephant, he's not fitting very well. I can move the llama and her girl down. Zeus looks good. The Industrial Revolution, that looks good. One of the things I noticed when I clicked fill in was that I lost my picture of the clay pot. And I've tried it a couple of times, and every time I go back over here to try to import it, it just says it's not a valid file type. So in the interest of time, what I'm going to do, and because I'm out of photo boxes, is I'm going to go ahead and just create a new photo box that says Social Studies. It's kind of a bummer. I wanted that clay pot. I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see. This is kind of cool. All right. So I think I have my pictures where I want my pictures, and now I just need to get my words where they stand off the page, and I can change them a little bit. This interactive student notebook kind of runs kind of long, so I'm going to make it so that it is stacked. So now instead of being some giant long text box, I have it now to where it's kind of stacked on each other. Keep my name down here at the bottom, or your name. But it's kind of hard to see the red on these, so I'm going to adjust the color. We'll see if lighter looks better or darker. It's really hard to see. Maybe I need to put this somewhere different. Yeah, it stands out a lot better up there. Kind of straighten it out a little bit. Ms. Evans, right through my elephant's face. Not loving that. So maybe right up in here. Again, I'm going to change the color and hope maybe it stands out a little better. Looks like I need to go darker than light. That'll work. So you can just continue to monkey with this how you see fit. Good old 6th period. Social Studies is kind of hiding. I think I'm going to turn it on its side and run it all the way down the side over here. Okay, so you literally could spend hours on this depending on how particular you are. I do want you to spend some time, but you don't need to spend any certain amount of time. So I'm going to say that I am finished. And to do this, all I'm going to do is save. Make sure I've got the 5 pictures, interactive, Social Studies 6. So you can go back and forth and check with your Edline again one more time before you actually save your final product. You come up here in the Photor window and you click on Save. It says Apply the adjustments. I say Apply. And it's saving it as this. I'm going to save it as my ISN, Interactive Student Notebook cover. And a JPEG is good, and I'm going to save it. So it's going to open me up a window, save, and now it's been successful. So now the next step in your process is to what? Let's check over here on our assignment sheet. It says that you need to either print it as a 5x7 and not attach it, or to email it to me, send it to me on a flash drive or something, and then I'll print it as a 5x7. So either way, remember Tuesday is when I need to have it digitally, or Wednesday paper copy. So let's take just a minute and figure out how to set this if you're going to print it yourself. Otherwise, you can just send it to me now that you have it saved. So to print it, you actually do that while you're not in Photo Collage. So I'm going to minimize this window. I can minimize this window too. And I'm going to find the photo that's saved. So mine's saved to my desktop. And there it is, my ISN cover, Interactive Student Notebook. And I'm just going to click on it and then right click. And I'm going to go to print. Because if I open it, let me show you real quick. If I open it on my computer, it opens it in kind of a preview window, which doesn't help me out really. So if I right click on it and go to print, it opens up the printer dialog window. And this is where I have my option of printing in a 5x7. So if we're looking at this window, it says the printer name, which would be your color printer at home. Paper size is letter. We're not changing that. Where we're changing it is over here on the right hand side where it says 5x7. We click on the 5x7, and if you notice, it's now altered our photo to fit in the 5x7 window. So I only need one. If I tell it to do two, it will actually put two of them on there, and I don't need two. I only need one. Now, one thing I'm noticing, though, is that my social studies language is cut off. And what else is missing here? My interactive student notebook title. So I'm going to unselect fit picture to frame. And that's going to give me a white box around it, which will allow it to actually print in a 5x7. That way it'll still fit on the cover of our book. If we were to print a full page photo, we have this giant 8.5x11 sheet of paper, and our composition notebooks are much smaller than that. So we go with the 5x7. We tell it not to fit to frame, because if it fits to frame, it cuts it off. So we make sure this box is unselected if anything is cut off important. If you have it fit to frame and no words have been cut off, just some parts of your pictures, that's fine. But mine doesn't work like that, so I have to do that. And then when I say print, it sends it to my printer. Remember, this is due next Wednesday. Print it out, brought into class, and we'll put it on our student notebooks then in class. Don't glue it on there yourself beforehand. Good luck, and if you have any questions, email me or ask me at school next week.